Today it's the three easiest ones. It won't take long. So we'll call this one construction 1. And what this is just copy a segment. So, you can do it any which way you want, but this is the way I do it, is like on your paper, you've got the whole width of it. On half the side, you have the picture, and the other half, you have the steps, because we're going to write down the steps so someone could read it and know how to do it. If you want to put the picture up here and the steps underneath, that's fine. Like this is your paper. Here's half. So, on the left side, you're going to start off with a given segment. So, when you draw straight lines, that's what the ruler's for. Just make a straight line. Doesn't have to be that long. You know, like I said, you can just do half the paper. And then on the other side, we'll write down what the steps are.
This way or this way?
Normal way. Yeah, you can do it that way if you want.
I should probably.
Yeah.
Ah, shoot, I was too.
Yeah, you can turn your paper sideways if you want, or you can keep it normal. You can. Okay, on your piece of paper, at the top of your paper, like you're doing an assignment, write construction 1, and then put what it is, copy a segment. You're going to start with a picture. Usually you're given a picture to start with. In this case, we're given a segment. And then on the side, we're going to write down the steps. So your constructions will all have a picture, and they'll have steps. Sometimes it's only a couple, sometimes it's 5. So someone could pick it up and read it and know how to do the construction by following the steps. Yeah, this is given to you. You're starting off with a segment. So the first step on doing this, copying a segment, is to make an array X, Y. So then we'll just do it over on the side. So the thing is, we're just going to have, we don't need to put Y on there. We'll just say make array X. Because we don't need another point on there yet.
X-ray.
X-ray.
Aren't you clever? You're so smart. Yeah. Sorry, that was really. Does it have to be the same length? Not realizing.
The ray better be a little longer than the other segment.
Aw, it's shorter. What you saying? I didn't know. Go to the half line. You know what? No, you can't stop. Watch me. You're getting good then. So I will separate you. No, you do not do that. We're in class, so be nice. Oh, got you. Suck it.
I remember when I was 12.
Shut up, Dustin. I'll come at you.
Sure you will. Oh, Zach,
You are not part of this.
please don't fight for me.
Encourage me.
I will fight for anybody. I will fight you. I will fight you.
Okay, so step 2.
With vertex.
Now, when it says with vertex, on all these constructions, if it tells you with vertex A, That means put the pointy part of your compass on that point. The pointy part is the vertex.
So this is the pointy part, right?
Yep. So, shh, quiet. So with vertex A, open the compass to B. So that means, just take your compass and open it up so it's the length of A to B. Okay. Then,
No, it won't fit if I do draw it. Just a little bit. Well, yours fit. Mine won't. I put it to open what? Open compass A. Private step.
so the next step then,
Why are we? Oh, okay.
Wait, so what? So we did that for nothing?
no.
We just squared like this?
You're just opening it to that length and then.
That's that step. No, this is the next step.
So we just like draw a line through X?
No.
Or? No, now we go like this. Just let him talk.
Yeah, let everyone write this down, then I'll show you.
Because I'm asking.
Oh, shoot, I didn't have it.
What directions we're supposed to?
So, step 2 said open up your compass this length. Step 3 is with vertex X, that means the pointy part on X, make an intersection and label it Y. So we label that intersection Y. And we're done.
I was hoping we could draw a circle.
AB is congruent to XY. We made congruent segments.
Whoa.
Go like this, and you measure this one, and then you put it on this one, and put 5 right there. Yeah. What? Okay, right, so like on your right?
So,
So you just leave it just like that?
yep,
And that's like
And then
one
like
thing?
here you just make that little bit.
That's one construction.
that's construction 1.
That's it.
So all this is it shows you architects, they don't always measure with rulers, they measure with compasses. To see how something long is, they want to make it the same length. They just use how wide the compass is of it. Everyone understand?
Yeah.
Okay? So that's it.
So now
We're done. Done for the
Everyone
day.
got it?
Yep, we're done with construction 1.
So we can do construction 2?
We're gonna have an.
Not today, please.
So, and then we just draw like a line and use the same taste?
Yeah, you can just cut it in half and start the new one, or just draw a line underneath it, start a new one.
I'm excited.
So, everyone's got it, right? I can erase it?
Yeah.
Okay, construction 2. No, this is our assignment.
Yeah.
Construction 2 is to construct a segment bisector.
So like Napoleon Dynamite. He's standing at the bus stop. Does that have to be on the same page? I love that.
It can be, it doesn't have to be.
Alright.
You can just put it right underneath construction 2.
Freaking 12
Now.
gauge, what do you think?
Everyone, when you make it this, when you do this construction for the picture, we gotta start off with a segment. You're gonna need room above it and below it. So you don't wanna put it way up here. You need some room above the segment and below the segment, okay? Yep, you gotta do stuff above and below.
Okay, so put it right.
Make it 3.5 centimeters.
Oh, I just did not get that line straight. And I have to
Don't worry, I can help you on the straight up. Mine's like,
Yeah, that's my ruler's full.
mine's like 4, and then mine was down in me cutting things.
No, I didn't do that.
Also, you know, things were straight on.
What? So she I used to do that all the time.
What?
He went like,
Like, you first take me, like, it's like, for like a whole hour.
Okay, here's the first step. I suggest you guys watch this on iTunes U so you can listen how much you gab during class.
You can't.
What, make a what?
Arc.
Oh, okay, sorry. I can't see. Mine don't work. You're wearing glasses.
Used to before.
Like Noah's Ark? One.
My name is
Noah's Ark with? Yeah, that's AR, not AR. Yeah, that's what we meant, yeah.
So the key here is, when you make this arc, it's gotta be more than half of AB, which means the length. If you have it too short, it's not gonna work out. It's gotta be more than half. It can be the same length even if you want, but what you do then is you just set it, put the vertex on A, make an arc above it and below it. You can make it all the way through if you like. That really doesn't matter.
So like make a half circle.
Yeah, you could make a half circle.
No, I'm actually not really sure what's going on. Not really sure why.
I cannot know.
Take it easy.
I kind of put a hole in the paper with the pointy part.
Napoleon took that from me.
Make an arc.
What'd you do this summer, Napoleon? I spent it with my cousins in Alaska hunting wolverines. What kind of gun did you use? Fucking 12 gauge. What do you think? Wolverines.
Okay, so you put it on A.
Fucking 12 gauge. What?
Are you supposed to put it on B2? No.
Mm-hmm.
Halfway through.
More than halfway through.
Okay, so after you make those arcs, step 2 is with vertex B. That just means put the pointy part on B. Make the same arc. So that means don't change your compass from what you did at A. Make the same arcs above and below,
Compass, yeah.
and then label those intersections X and Y.
Sorry.
So we don't label the first ones, we label the second one? Never
Well,
mind.
there's nothing to label yet,
Oh, but we
because
do-
we don't have any intersections yet.
but you're going to- Never mind. I'll figure it out. Let's get away.
What are you gonna do tonight, Napoleon? I feel like doing gosh.
Mine looks weird. Look at it.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Duh.
Okay, so you made an arc from A, you keep it the same, bring it over to B, you make the same arcs, and it'll intersect there, and it'll intersect there. Now,
Oh, those
yeah, it's
ones.
gotta be the same from A and B.
Dang it, I gotta make it more.
So if your arcs don't intersect, you just didn't make your lines long enough. That happens every year, someone does this, and then they'll make an arc up here, and they say they don't intersect.
That's what I just did.
Well, all you gotta do is make it go further so it does. And then you wanna label the intersections X and Y. Whoa. So then the last step is connect X, Y.
Apparently not. That's cool.
Is that normal construction too?
So what we just did is we bisected this segment, so that means this length would be equal to this one. One other thing for the future is it also forms a 90 right there. Go ahead and mark those in your picture.
Why?
You just put one mark here and one mark here to show that these are equal, and then put a 90 because it also makes it 90.
That erases little.
Yeah, if I already like drew it completely through, it's already like a line there, it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Why would you hunt the
So
Wolverine?
that's how they cut lines in half, and it's also in architecture how they make 90 degrees. One way to make a 90.
Promises.
His head is always shaved. His head takes up that entire picture.
Seriously, his head is always in the way, so I can't see him.
Zach, you just need to cut off your head. I'm sorry.
No.
Or he can be sitting there.
Oh no. It's gone back. Oh.
How many of these are there?
Today we're doing 3.
And then we're done.
Then we're done for today. Yep.
Yeah. Yeet, yeet. Eat skeet. Oopsies, sorry, I hit this.
Okay,
one.
does everyone have this one done?
Eat skeet.
No.
Yes, ma'am.
No?
And there's copy of mine.
We're gonna construct an angle bisector.
Carl, I can do your thing. Look, what did you say?
So, your picture is gonna be an angle. You can make it any size you want. All the work is done pretty much inside the angle.
So make it big.
So you don't need any room above it or below it.
Does it matter like what kind of angle it is?
No, it doesn't. It's easier if it's an acute angle though to do. And then we'll just call this angle A.
Oh.
So here's the first step.
I knew that. I just didn't.
Oops.
It's one of those days. Things aren't clicking very fast.
No, I'm not.
With vertex A, make any arc through the angle, label the intersections X and Y.
What? He hates you all. He likes me. Well, obviously he likes you, though.
So vertex means the pointy part. Pointy part on A. It can be any size arc. And you can make it all the way through if you want, but all we're worried about is where it crosses. And then you label those two intersections X and Y.
Yes. And then label where they cross.
Thank you.
X and Y.
Oh.
Why do you use two hands? I did too.
Like that.
I just have my gold. I saw that Brent Lindsay go
Also
sorry.
put out a point.
I didn't swear it. What do you think? You said
Okay.
You
didn't-
I know. You didn't finish it.
Okay, so here's the second step. With vertex X, make any arc inside the angle. Make the same arc with vertex Y, and then label the intersection Z.
Whoa.
So you Anderson? Are you still the same size? Are you able to do She can't even do what are they called? Bench warmers for the ground thing.
She was, and she's like, oh, trust me, it helps.
What kind of, where do you draw the angle for X?
You don't,
Inside?
the arc you mean?
Yeah.
Yep. So you can choose any distance. So you put the vertex X, you make an arc inside. Keep it the same, come down to Y, make the same arc, so they intersect.
Oh.
and then you label that intersection Z.
X, Y, and Z.
You're supposed to put it on the pointy. With the right X. Yeah, you put one on the X, and then you put the same length on the Y.
So wait, am I supposed to be in the middle?
Yes.
Well, number 3 is an easy one. Anyone know what you do for number 3? Connect AZ.
Hey, oh, we're supposed to put an A right?
Connect forward. Oh my gosh, Lindsay, sometimes you just. You don't shut up right now and I'll punch his face.
No, I'm not going to punch your face.
I will.
Ellie, do it.
Dude, that's actually really pretty.
Okay? Now, what that line is, AZ, it bisects the angle, cuts it in half. So to show on your picture that it's cut in half, you gotta put an arc here and an arc there. Remember, if it's one arc on each one, that means they're equal.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Are we done now?
So, this one can be done real quick because all you do is you'll make a mark. You can keep it the same, come up here, make a mark, and then connect it. Okay? Yep, so you just go like that, connect it.
What goes through your
Okay.
head when you say these things? You say mark, 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 mark. But she goes.
Are we done? So yes, that is